Welcome back to Twin Football. The United States men's national team go 3-4-3 in the group after a nice, comfortable win against Haiti, topping the group undefeated for the seventh time in Gold Cup history for the U.S. men's national team. Jacob is with us to talk his thoughts of the overall group, and then we're going to go through our player performances against Haiti and our predictions for Costa Rica. So stay with us. But first, Jacob, how does it feel to be top of the group, undefeated, 3 wins from 3 for the United States? How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. They didn't let up against Haiti, even though we didn't necessarily need to win. That's all you can ask for from especially a B lineup, if you can call it that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of substitutions made for that one, but it does feel good to go 3 for 3. So let's go ahead and dive into the player performances. What stuck out for you against Haiti with all of these changes? No Berhalter due to yellow card concerns. Tyler Adams getting a first start in this Gold Cup after battling back from a lower leg injury, but you still got the likes of Tillman and Ajimang up front.
Right. So I actually have a lot of takeaways from this Haiti game. Ajimong finally had his moment that we've been waiting for more than anything. Pochettino was waiting for. He's been playing him every game
Hoping
and
for.
just hoping he develops in some capacity. He's so young at 24 years old. He's just a raw talent that needs to develop, needs to get more sure of himself in the attacking third more than anything. That's my biggest criticism of him. But he had his moment. Great through ball to Ajimong. He very calmly dribbles past the goalkeeper and at a tough angle with his off foot just slots it in. No mistake. That was the moment we were waiting for. I'm really happy he finally finished one. He had one earlier in the game. He definitely should have finished, but he had his moment. You could tell he was nervous every time he got in the final third. Maybe this is the breakthrough moment for the young Ajimong to finally get some confidence, and I'm excited for what he brings in the future. Matt Freese didn't have a lot to do this whole tournament, and he's got the lowest rating against Haiti, and it's kind of sad because he just made a giant mistake, but that's the life of a goalkeeper. When you are called upon, you have to perform. You often don't get many chances. The best in the world, like Allison, for example, has some of the best defenders in the world right in front of him with Liverpool. He doesn't have that many things to do, but when he does get called upon, he makes that save, and that's why Allison gets paid the big bucks at Liverpool. And if you want to be an elite goalkeeper, you have to be consistent. That's the name of the game. And Matt Freese had a giant mistake giving the ball away. Sure, Tim Ream gives him a tough pass, but come on, this is not amateur level soccer. If you're unsure of it, just put your foot through it.
Yes.
When in doubt, just put your foot through it. And I think Matt Freese will know that going forward. It was on his off foot. Put your foot through it.
Big error. And I actually would agree with Alexi Lawless when he says it's actually a calamity of errors, not only a bad pass, not only a bad clearance or a pass from Matt Freese after the bad pass from Tim Ream, but also bad positioning and not able to even rectify both those two previous mistakes. But Pochettino was asked, how do you move on from that? And he said, well, you just move on. The trust is always going to be there. These things are going to happen. I would disagree that these things just happen. They can't happen. That's just what it boils down to. They just cannot happen in these big moments when you're trying to prove yourself to be part of the first team for, again, 2026. This Gold Cup is all with the lens of 2026. So having said that, you've talked about Pochettino's trust in Ajimang, and now we've talked about the trust in Matt Freese. Which one of the two do you think actually has a shot, if they can perform well in the knockout stages here against Costa Rica, to actually get into the 2026 squad?
So it's a great question because the number 9 position is so wide open and the goalkeeping position is so wide open. Like, we historically have always had a number 1 goalkeeper. That's our guy. Maybe like Brad Guzan fought with Tim Howard for a little bit for the number 1 spot, but we haven't had it this blown wide open that we don't really feel that confident in any number 9 or any number 1. Haji Wright is much better than Ajimang is than Matt Freese or Matt Turner are versus each other. For that reason, I think Matt Freese has a slightly better chance because I think he is closer in talent to Matt Turner than Ajimang is to Haji Wright. I want Haji Wright in and even Pepe over Ajimang. Again, Ajimang is so young. I'm happy to give him a little bit more time in this tournament. And to be honest, we don't really have a choice because we don't have a healthy number 9 on our roster right now other than Ajimang, really. we
Yeah,
could maybe experiment with a false nine or something. But yeah, I think Matt Freese, if he gets the start against Costa Rica, we'll see after that mistake who gets the number one shirt.
that is exactly what is in front of the United States. Is a game against Costa Rica in the knockout stages or the quarterfinals of the Gold Cup after Costa Rica drew with Mexico. Even Mexico had a late winner chalked off there, but Costa Rica gets through after some scary moments there against Suriname, 137th ranked country in FIFA rankings. They ended up winning that game 4-3. That's really what kind of pushed them over the edge here, getting the second group spot and advancing to the quarterfinals. If the U.S. were to beat Costa Rica, they most likely will be taking on an undefeated Canada team who has been red hot under Jesse Marsch. No Alphonso Davies, obviously due to his torn ACL, but still a tough matchup in the semifinal before taking on either a Mexico or Panama. So quick, Jacob, what is your expectations here looking at the format? What is going to satisfy you for the U.S. in this Gold Cup? How far do we need to go?
We have to keep in mind that this is basically our B team. I still think if we don't make it to the final, it's a massive letdown. We have to get through Canada. I don't think we need to necessarily win it all for it to be a success. I think if we can develop a few players, if Ajiman gets into a hot streak right now, Aronson gets more time. I can't wait to see what he does in the knockout rounds. Going into this tournament, it's always been who can we see develop enough to have a chance to play at the 2026 World Cup? That's been our goal, to find players that will perform. It's sad to say that the trophy in this Gold Cup isn't necessarily the goal. If it was our first 11, our strongest team, of course, we have to win the Gold Cup right before we host the World Cup for the first time in 30 years. But this is our big team. We have to get through Costa Rica first and foremost. They are good on the attack. They've got a decent amount of goals. I think they have 8 in the group stages, but they're wide open defensively. One of their starting defenders, Mora, is out on yellow card suspension, so that left side should be open. And Ugalde is their main forward, main goal scoring threat, who is also out on yellow card suspension, which is a huge win for Pochettino and the boys. Mexico got under their skin. The U.S. does not blame Costa Rica for that, as they've definitely provoked us before. This time it helped us that Mexico did their shithousery that they always do. And yeah, those yellow cards are huge. Ugalde has 3 goals already in this tournament. He's their penalty taker. If it goes into penalties, then he won't be taking an important one. We have to beat Costa Rica pretty handily. And then Canada will be tough. We need to win that one. And then who knows, in the final against Mexico, most likely.
Yeah, I would agree. A win against Costa Rica is a absolute must. Going against Canada will be a tougher match. Obviously, we've had trouble with Canada in the past couple of years, but with no Alphonso Davies, especially, no matter what, it's at home. We have to be making the final here. Mexico current odds on favorites to win the whole thing. If you do meet a Mexico, then maybe you push that game pretty late and maybe you don't come up with the trophy, but definitely going to need a good showing in that. And this is the first time a lot of these players are going to be playing in a very competitive win or go home moment. So for you, you are looking for a back line of Ream and Richard starting in the center back pairing.
Oh, I want Arfston instead of Tolkien. That's my one.
Arfston. Yeah, Arfston on the left-hand side here with Alex Freeman on the right, and Turner coming back into goal for you against Costa Rica. Is it because of that error from Matt Freese?
Yeah, I'm putting Turner in my starting 11 here purely because of that big mistake. Our biggest criticism for Matt Turner was sometimes he's not the best with the ball at his feet. And if Matt Freese is going to do the same thing, I'll take the better shot stopper, in my opinion, and have our more experienced players start to get international reps as soon as possible. Sorry, Matt Freese experiment is over. You didn't have that many chances and you made a horrible mistake. It's brutal, but it's international goalkeeping. There's only one player that's going to play, and you have to make the switch sooner rather than later.
You look at Costa Rica is going to play with a back 5, basically 2 wing backs. Even with Mora out, they're most likely going to stick in that kind of formation. And Keylor Navas, in that he's older, but even with that back 5, he shouldn't have that much to do. When he does, he comes up with the goods. He is a great performer every single game for Costa Rica. He has been. He is one of the best players CONCACAF has ever produced. And he just shows you why he's an elite level goalkeeper. Matt Freese has not shown me that he's an elite level goalkeeper. Obviously, Matt Turner has had errors, and I agree with you. I think he needs to get regular game play. I would be happy if he starts. I don't think he will, just because of that, but I will be happy if he does. You were impressed with Quinn Sullivan against Haiti enough to give him a start here against Costa Rica?
Yeah, I really like what Sullivan was doing. He had that Rabona down the line. He's just a confident young winger, and I didn't think he made that many mistakes. I really like what he was doing. He found some great passes. His work rate is awesome. And I don't think McGlynn has done enough in this tournament to earn a starting spot in the knockout stages. So I want to see more of Sullivan. So I gave him the start here. McGlynn had that great goal against Turkey, but that was just a friendly. And in this tournament, Sullivan has impressed more, so he deserves it. Tolkien was an experiment that Pochettino did in the Haiti game, switching out Arfston at left back. He reassured Arfston that that's his spot, but he's just trying something out. I'm sure Arfston was kind of happy to see that Tolkien didn't have the best game, because you never know when you're going to lose the spot. And I'm sure he's anxious to get back out there. I think Arfston does get the spot back. Tolkien had so many miscontrols, just straight out of bounds.
Straight out of bounds.
Sure, we're giving him a lot of long balls. They're not the easiest ones to control, but you got to keep that in bounds. Just too many mistakes. Defensively, he was about as good as Arfston has been. Sure, the goal came from the left side, but that was all Matt Freese's fault. And Arfston is a little bit better on the ball than Tolkien. I think the spot is Arfston's for now. And Aronson has to start here is another big change from what we've seen. He's just by far our best creative player right now. And Tillman's been amazing. He's so confident right now. That number 9's finish that with the header in the beginning of the game the other day. It's so good.
Yeah, Aronson and Tillman hooking up for that goal,
Right.
especially, and is exactly why for my lineup, I've actually kept Aronson out on the left-hand side and pushed Tillman up front. And the reason why is you go back through that Haiti game and you compare the runs from Tillman and the runs from Ajimang. I mean, they basically made the same deep runs straight through the back line, and the ball was played over the top or through, and they would have to get a touch. And Tillman, to me, played that role better. I know we talked about Ajimang getting that goal, being able to go, around the goalkeeper and tidying that home, but he had a couple opportunities early on in that game, offsides, bad control, bad touch, and so on. Tillman, that touch, he got 2 goals ruled out against Haiti. The first one was just kind of off of his body. I think it should have stood. The second one, offsides, but that touch and flick was absolutely fantastic, even though it didn't end up going in. His touch, his runs, his ability, like the header you talked about for the first goal from Aronson, was a beautiful back post run and a nice cushioned header to the back post, back where it came from, and tucked nicely into the net. I love to see him, and especially against a Costa Rica team that's going to be sitting back a lot. They're going to look to counter. No Galde, like you mentioned. They're going to know that they got to keep this game close, so they're going to sit back. And so I want as many people crossing the ball and a person who's actually able in a crowded group of players to pick up that ball, hold on to it, take a deft touch to space, get a shot up, and I think Tillman will do that. I would love to see Turner take the spot of Freeze, but I think Freeze will get the start here. So I do agree with you. Arfston on the left-hand side has to come back in. Alex Freeman has been getting the positions. We will leave him there. And I think we'll play similar to how we played against Saudi Arabia, where Arfston will push up a lot down the left-hand side, help out with Aronson, and Freeman will tuck inside. Hopefully,
I think Freeman's getting a little bit more comfortable. I was very critical of Freeman in the beginning of the tournament, and I think some of his balls into the middle third and also the attacking third have been wonderful. Like, he's so good at those through balls. Haiti gave us a lot of space. It made us look good for sure, but happy to see more of Freeman and see what he can do. Still, the fullbacks have a long way to go if they want a starting spot in the 2026 World Cup, but it's nice to see these players getting some momentum going into the knockout stages. I just will say one more time with Ajimang, to defend him one more time. We were very critical of him, but I just think that it's been a confidence thing, and he finally had that moment where he took a deep breath and just slotted it in once he got past the keeper. And if he didn't find some confidence in that moment, he surely would have missed that. It wasn't an easy finish. It was with his off foot from a hard angle, and he slotted it in. I just think you have to see what he can do going into it. I love Tillman in that number 9 spot, though, to your credit. Tillman is probably at this moment a more effective goal scorer than Ajimang, even though that's not the position he normally plays. He's been clinical, but I'd like to see more of Ajimang.
And I can see that. And I do actually think that Pochettino will agree with you and
Yeah.
start him up front. And the confidence could go a long way in trying to bolster a number 9 spot, like you mentioned, that has had its difficulties over the last couple of years, being a relied upon position in big tournaments like 2026. You're going to want as many people you can bring that will have a confidence, and to give Ajimang the start here and build off of the goal against Haiti would be something that would help in 2026. I just think Tillman is the best candidate out of our group to actually have an impact in 2026. And I want to water that till the cows come home. I am so excited for the way that he plays. We will see if he gets that move to Bayer Leverkusen. The rumor mill is spinning. Obviously, a great season with PSV to take them to the Eredivisie title, but Bayer Leverkusen as a replacement for Wirtz, I mean, that's a big shoes to fill there as an attacking midfielder, but I would love to see it if they believe in him. I believe in him. So there you have it. There is our recap of the game against Haiti and our predictions for the Costa Rica. Before we go, Jay, I have a score for you against Costa Rica this weekend.
3-1 United States.
3-1 U.S. comfortably moving on to the semifinals. Thank you very much for joining us. And remember, enjoy the football.